it.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. On the radio, on Facebook Live, on podcasts everywhere, on YouTube, and talklawradio.com. If you're interested in a legal topic, email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. This is the Sinners and Saints segment.
Sounds interesting. I'm like waiting. I'm like,
Shannon and I need to learn how to dance while we sit down so that we can look good on camera.
do the head bob.
Yeah, like from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, we should do that.
So like Meredith Brooks, who sang a song about being a sinner and a saint in 1997, Martin Luther, the famous theologian who nailed his 95 thesis to the castle church door in Wittenberg, Germany in 1517, taught that we are all born sinners, but because of Jesus' sacrifice and resurrection, we are saved and absolved. So we're going to talk about saints and sinners. I'm not Catholic, but I read this morning that the Catholic Church is naming a new saint, and so it's newsworthy. And the gentleman's name was Carlo Acutis.
Child's name.
Child.
He was a child.
That's correct.
Thank you.
And I don't know all of the rules for how to become a saint. Do you guys?
I don't know all of the rules, but I know that one of them is that you have to have performed. There's got to be demonstrated
A miracle.
a miracle. You have to have performed a miracle.
And so this was a millennial. I think he was born in 1991. He's the first millennial saint. And he was very active in the church. He was a great evangelist. And he was also had technical skills. So he was using like social media. Surprised you don't know this, Shannon.
No.
You should
Oh,
have,
you don't know?
Educate me.
you should have been following him.
I should have.
By the way, Shannon Roberta Salmon San Antonio Haas.
De la Vargas.
You've got more names. We got to keep adding on your names.
Well, it's because she adds San Antonio to her name that makes it a little challenging for me to remember. But follow her on Instagram and be encouraged. She'll have an encouraging statement near the end of the show. But I just wanted to mention him. I wanted to talk with you, Judge, about maybe some story of redemption that you can share with us about a situation that you've either been involved in or you heard about where, one of these sad stories where children ended up being removed from their home, get reunited, and everybody lives happily ever after. You have anything like that?
So I have, well, let me not foster care, but child custody litigation spaces that I think I can put together without violating anybody's privacy. I don't know if you know, I know you know about the Family Violence Prevention Program. It is an administrative office that assists our civil district judges in getting litigants who are going through domestic violence to services to help minimize the violence or minimize the possibility of recurring violence, and to educate and make sure that the parents and the children, if they're of age, appreciate the dynamics around them and how to heal from those dynamics that they may have experienced. So the Family Violence Prevention Program, I'm very proud that we have that office. I'm proud of the court staff that work on those issues. And so there have been a few families where I have referred over to the Family Violence Prevention Program. And I have, now that we're probably a year since the office has been completely staffed, since its inception. And I do a status hearing. So if I refer the case to the Family Violence Prevention Program, I'm doing a status hearing 30 to 45 days from the referral.
You want to know how things are going.
I want to know how things are going. I want to make sure that the services, there was a connection. I want to make sure that the parties are following the order and engaging with services. I want to make sure that things are working for the children if they were also ordered to services, or even if things are working for the children because their parents are engaging in services. So it's been probably increasing in feedback that the parties themselves, even the self-represented litigants, are letting me know at that status hearing, thank you. And it sounds a little trite, but that thank you is so loaded because it tells me that, number one, the services are doing what we expected the services to do, and the family is safer and the children are safer. But number two, it reminds me that people want education. People want to get better. People want to do better, and we've had more and more families that I think lives and the children's lives are being improved because of the Family Violence Prevention Program.
Good, that's a good story. I have to interject because I get passionate about this. What people would really want is to learn all those things before they find themselves in front of a judge. My oldest child, who shall remain unnamed, gave me a hard time when he was a young man. And what I found out was that nobody would help me until he was in trouble. And so that's what I would like to see changed, is how can families get help before they get into trouble?
I would like that too. In fact, I would, again, I think so many things can change with education. And so then the question is, well, how do we get families the services and the education before they come to the trouble tipping point? And is that through the schools? Is it through churches? Is it through community fairs? I don't know. How do we get to connect with people who would ask for help if given the opportunity?
Well, there's affluent families that would pay for those services, but because the government set these programs up for people that are in trouble, that's the only entry point into a lot of these services.
For now, but we could change it.
There's no for-profit companies providing these services. That affluent people have the same problems as those who don't have a lot of money.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, being a sinner...
More money, more problems.
Being a sinner isn't unique to your financial status.
You know, Todd, if you didn't want your child to run into problems, you shouldn't have named him Little Puppet. I think that was definitely your
She's
first...
kidding, by the way. She's kidding. Okay, I want to talk about divorce because that was one of our topics. And what do you want people to know, or before they end up in divorce court? What can they expect to go through? Because I did only a certain number of divorces, and I don't do that anymore. But whether it was child custody, or I'll talk about this other story first. I did a divorce. I represented one of the parties in a divorce. There were no minor children, but each of them wanted a disproportionate share of the community property. And so the way that they would ask the court to award them a larger share is to say bad things about the other party, about how they're a more terrible person than me.
Right.
And so you should award me a greater share of the community.
Okay.
What do you want people to know about that before they get involved in a divorce, filing a divorce?
So I'm gonna answer a little bit, and then I'm gonna let the advocate give her 2 cents. So
Okay.
I think first and foremost, people should know that when you bring your controversy and dispute to the courthouse, you are presenting to a legal and factual stranger, right? Because if I know you from church or from, we're mom friends or parent friends at school, I'm not going to preside over your case. Right? So you are presenting your facts, your life, to a legal and factual stranger. And I promise, and I want the community to know, I'm doing my best. I am educating myself. I am trying to stay up on the psychological research on all of the issues that touch our families and families that are going through separation. I educate myself on decision making and communication skills and everything, right? I am very studious and committed to doing the best job that I can. But I cannot learn your life, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, or even 12 months, in the time allotted at the courthouse. I am a legal and factual stranger, and I stay that way. So the intimate details and how it feels and how it is to you, I will not be able to understand that completely. I don't know. What do you want folks to know before they go to the courthouse?
Yeah, if they were in my office and they said, hey, here's $20,000, I need you to go get me that other person's head on a plate, they're horrible, they're terrible, I would have to tell them, the judge is not going to care. I know you think your ex is horrible. They're not going to be interested in listening to your litany of complaints. Let's just come to a fair, reasonable agreement right now. And that's the policy I have, where I try to get people off of this track that they have where they think the judge is going to actually, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say you don't care.
Well, I was going to say,
yeah.
if I could tweak it just a little bit, we care. We care very much. Well, let me speak for myself. I care very much, very much. But I'm not them. I'm not their neighbor. I don't know intimately what your life is like. It's just what I can learn.
Yeah. Well, we have to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll be talking about legacy, child custody, and parental alienation. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.